Hey people, what's going on? Tryhards. I hope it's the Tryhard Nation in here. Hope everyone's having a good day. And as you guys can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be trying to keep this short, but I'm going to be talking about Ichigo, the smart protagonist. All right, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try to keep it short, but I have about 5 good points, and I also have basically an example of each point. So it's basically going to be the gist of it. I'm going to try and get through this and not keep y'all all day. Unless y'all want to stay all day, then you can catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/HERO-SUPE. I stream every day. I'm going for 1,000 days of streaming, so you guys can definitely come check me out there. And let's just get right to it, because Ichigo by far is probably my #1 favorite anime protagonist, for a lot of reasons. And one of his more underrated traits is that Ichigo is actually a pretty smart protagonist, right? Especially when you think about, a lot of anime protagonists, right? And the first point I like to make is that Ichigo actually listens, and I'm going to be comparing this to, some of the more known anime protagonists that we know, comparing him to them at times. But again, the #1 point I'm about to make is that he listens, right? And one example of Ichigo listening would be around the time when the captains were fighting Aizen. Ichigo was going through the Gargantuan, I believe. I think he was, trying to run back to the human world. And they were telling Ichigo, like, man, look, you're going to have one shot at this, because once Aizen becomes aware of you, things are going to get really difficult. So, as soon as you see him, you're going to have one shot at this, right? And keep in mind, this is Ichigo. This is an example of Ichigo listening. Ichigo takes in the information. As soon as Ichigo breaks through and gets to the real world, he damn near tries to one-shot Aizen, bro. You see how much power he put into that Getsuga Tensho? So it really does show, and I can give you examples all day, but keep in mind, I'm not trying to make the video super long. I just want to make a point. But that's just an example of Ichigo listening. They tell him, like, look, man, when you get there, do what you got to do before he sees you. Try your best, because once he sees you, things are going to get pretty interesting, or rather it's going to get pretty difficult. And as soon as Ichigo gets there, he has to drop on Aizen kinda, because he's behind him, and then he just tries his best to cut down Aizen with one of the best Getsuga Tenshos, especially in terms of power that we've ever seen. And we all know how the story went, though. It didn't work because Aizen is, so smart. But that was an example of Ichigo actually listening. You know what I mean? Ichigo actually took in what they were saying and tried to utilize that in the battlefield. Once again, him having a pretty good brain. The second point I like to make is that Ichigo has common sense and more. Now, I'm saying that because a lot of anime characters, sometimes they even lack common sense, right? Like, they really just don't know what's going on at all. And Ichigo has always shown that, there are some abilities and things that he might not quite know about, that he's not aware of. But Ichigo is very sharp, and like I said, and not to mention, common sense and more, like the kids in high school, you know what I mean? Like Ichigo, throughout the series, he actually graduates high school, and I would say common sense and more. And rather than giving an example, I could just point out to you, like, the idiots of the show, or like the brutes of the show who just don't think and just do things, are easily Kenpachi and Ikkaku. It's not Ichigo. You know what I mean? Ichigo actually thinks, and he may not have the most elaborate plans, but you can tell that the man he's competent. You know what I mean? He's very aware of what's going on, especially during fights and even out of fights. So Ichigo is not one that just lacks common sense. Like when people, how people always appear in Ichigo's window, like he can really say something stupid, like, there are a lot of things he could say that's stupid. Like when people pop up in Ichigo's window, he's like, I like to think that he addresses it accordingly, as opposed to just saying something really weird, like, oh, you got cool shoes. Like, bro, someone just appeared in your window. Like how about this for an example? When the Quincy dude, around the time when the Quincy War was starting, when Ichigo was talking to Rukia and everyone was telling him about what was going on in I think it's Hueco Mundo, the place where the Hollows are. When they were explaining to Ichigo what was going on in Hueco Mundo, one of the Quincy dudes showed up in Ichigo window and he was talking that smack, and Ichigo simply told him, man, like, I don't give a damn why you here, get the hell off my bed. And I know it's like, whoa, how does that show he has common sense more? Well, because he could have said something else. He could have really said something dumb. Think about what Luffy would have said, or what Goku would have said, or what Naruto probably would have said. You know, like, oh, how'd you get all the way up here? Ichigo strictly told that man, like, bro, it don't matter why you're here. Get the hell off my bed. You know what I mean? I think that shows that he has a little bit more than just common sense, because he knows the guy shouldn't be in this window, let alone, you know, you come right after we just talked about some very important information. The third point I like to bring up is that people don't avoid him when things are going bad. Now, that's another sign that's showing that Ichigo has a certain amount of control over his emotions, because, you know, like Naruto and, like, you know, even Goku in times, and Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter, when certain things happen, people around the main protagonist actively try not to tell the main protagonists of these shows about what's going on. Like when Beerus first came, they tried to hide Beerus's identity to Goku because they knew Goku would want to fight him. You know, Gon, like, you know, Gon has had a few instances, you know, in his show where, you know, there were, you know, where he just reacted to things and people had to like knock him out because he couldn't quite handle what was going on, because he was too quick to just jump at it. You know what I mean? And Luffy is just, well, not even Luffy so much, but I think Luffy has moments too where they can't really tell him things because of the way he'll react to it. Whereas Ichigo, they always come and tell Ichigo things because Ichigo is just like, okay, I'm going to take it in. Even if Ichigo gets upset, he doesn't do anything so reckless to the point where he'll endanger himself and get other people killed. He just kind of takes it in. So I think that's a lot different from other anime characters, again, because, like, you know, as soon as Sasuke left the village and Naruto found out, he just straight ran and, you know, just tried to leave the village. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be doing things like that, bro. Like, so again, other protagonists, people normally try to keep certain information from them, whereas Ichigo, they don't. They have no problem with telling Ichigo what's going on because they know Ichigo can handle himself. You know, and again, people don't avoid telling him things when things are going bad. People don't avoid him when things are going bad. The fourth point I like to bring up is that he's not always quick to fight. Ichigo has also had moments where, an example of this would actually be when Ichigo first met Yukiura, and I'm going to just leave this here because this is a really good point. When Ichigo first met Yukiura, you know, Yukiura, everyone knew what Yukiura already did, but Ichigo didn't. So when Ichigo first saw him, you know, Yukiura was like, oh, you don't want to fight, we're enemies, yada, yada, yada. Ichigo was like, I don't want to fight you because I know we're enemies, but there's no reason for us to fight right now. You haven't really done anything to me directly. You know what I mean? Ichigo was literally about to let Yukiura go ahead and, you know, do whatever it is he was going to go do, up until Yukiura told him, you know, who he was and what he did, and Ichigo just snapped on him. So I think that's a really, really good example of Ichigo not being so quick to fight, unlike other anime. Like, you know, there have been many times when Naruto would see somebody, he just Rasengan, like, I'm about to run at him. Of course, Goku's the same way. Even in the new Broly movie, right? We just seen Goku in the new Broly movie. As soon as they met Broly, Goku was just like, hey, everybody calm down, man. We should have ourselves like a little fight here. Like, you trying to fight these dudes and you don't even know them, bro. Like, you could at least talk to them and try to figure out what's going on, you know? I'm watching One Piece right now, and Luffy ain't even met Crocodile yet, and as soon as he finds out about him, only thing he's talking about is kicking his ass. He's like, oh, yeah, all I gotta do is kick his ass. Like, bro, you don't even want to try to meet the dude and see if you could possibly talk him out of Arabasta. But, you know, we're gonna or Alabasta, excuse me, but we're gonna get there once I catch up with One Piece. But again, you know, Ichigo's not always quick to fight, and I think that's another sign of him being a pretty smart protagonist. And my last point is, he respects and is aware of his power. And an example would basically be in most of Ichigo's fights. Like, matter of fact, I'll just give you another good example. Around the time when Ichigo couldn't control his hollow power, and he was fighting Grimmjow, Ichigo didn't want the hollow to basically take over him. So Ichigo was saying things like, okay, I got about 2 more Getsuga Tenchos before the hollow power takes over me. You know what I mean? Ichigo will be fighting people and he'll be talking about Zangetsu while he's fighting. He'll be like, you know, me and old man Zangetsu, we've been through a lot. You know what I mean? Or old man Zangetsu won't let me die. Or, you know, I'll always win as long as I got old man Zangetsu. And that's a pretty good sign that shows that he's smart, because he's very aware of what he's capable of to a certain extent. You know, that's, of course, you know, he finds out more and more as the show progresses. But he's very aware of himself. He's very aware of his power. So he knows that, you know, certain conflicts don't need too much power put into it. You know what I mean? Like, I can beat you with just my Shinigami form. I don't need to be in Bankai. I don't need to do these things. I can beat you with, like, you know, a lower level of power, you know, And an example of that not exactly working out like with another anime protagonist would be somebody like Naruto, like when Naruto fights sometimes, you know, he runs out of chakra because he's just using up so much of it that he just, you know, passes out. You know, people can say like, oh, that's an old thing, but I mean, still, like, you know, Naruto pushes himself to the point where, you know, sometimes his power just ends up breaking him and it takes over him. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem to not want it to happen. He's just trying to take care of what's right in front of him, whereas, you know, you should probably take a little bit better care. And another example would be Gon Freaks. Again, I'm watching Hunter x Hunter, and you know, Gon is freaking he just fought the guy Knuckles, and while he's fighting the guy Knuckles, you know, he basically just used up all his nen. He kept trying to, you know, do Jenkins and fight the dude. All of a sudden, he just made himself pass out because he just kept, you know, using up too much of it, almost like he wasn't aware of, you know, how much of it he should have been putting out. And I know people can say like, oh yeah, but these characters, those are the early stages, and you gotta wait for them to develop. I'm all for character development, don't get me wrong, but it's just that, you know, where most characters start dumb and then become smart, Ichigo has always been smart, and he just got smarter and got more intelligent and got more knowledge. So again, that was just the whole point of this video. I think it was good to point out that my favorite anime protagonist, Ichigo, is again one of the smarter protagonists. So thank everybody for watching. Stay tuned to my next video, and remember guys, Ichigo is a smart protagonist. Y'all have yourself a good day, and don't forget to follow me on all social media, and you guys can also check me out on twitch.tv/HERO-SUPE. I'll catch you guys later.